Coach, 5-1, perfect in conference play. A chance at bowl eligibility this week. I know that's not your number one goal, but it is significant, right? The chance to get to that 6-win mark this early in the season?
Yeah, it's entering the season. It's always one of our goals. And, so, I mean, it's not necessarily something that, is going to be what the game's all about, but if it happens, then, that's always a positive. But really it's just about, trying to play a really good game against New Mexico, who's very explosive on offense, and what we need to do to go there and come away with a victory.
Well, you mentioned the Lobos' explosiveness on offense. It's a little different this year, isn't it, than what you've seen from New Mexico in the past?
Yeah, I mean, usually, last year was a triple option, and but they still have a variation of it, and it's always there, so you have to be careful. But it's they have a new quarterback, and they're still very explosive. They're second in the conference in scoring, so they have some weapons. Their running back rushed for 1,000 yards as a sophomore a couple years ago, so they have some weapons. The quarterback can run. He's athletic. Has some weapons outside, so they do a really nice job of keeping you off balance and spreading you out. But that's there. They have that in their back pocket, and they can go to that at any time. So it's a very difficult offense to stop.
27-3 the other night, 21-3 the week before. You guys haven't given up a touchdown since the end of Toledo game. But what were you most satisfied with Saturday night in this last victory?
Really, that was a team effort. I think that was key. That all three phases of the game contributed. Field position on special teams really gave our defense a chance to pin guys deep, and then we got some decent field position and scored against what I consider to be a very tough Wyoming defense. And it's very hard to put up a lot of numbers on those guys, and so I thought it was an efficient game all the way around. No turnovers on offense, and defense came away with one. But it's just a team effort, I think, is what we strive for.
Coach, I ask you this only because Nick Saban seems to be facing the same thing. Is attendance at college football a nationwide problem right now, or what do you see as the problem, I guess, why people aren't coming out to Bulldogs Stadium?
I don't know. That's out of my thought pattern, really. It is what it is, and we can only do our best to try to put a good product on the field, and and hope that people come out and they're supportive. And I understand there was a lot of things going on this weekend. I think we'd been pretty good up until then, though. I think we had a little over 30 and a couple others, but this one was only 28 something I saw. But I understand that there was a lot of things going on with the fair and so on and so forth. So I don't really know. All we can focus on is our practice and our preparation, and hopefully putting a good product on the field.
We've seen Darion Grimm get involved in the offense a little bit more than he had been this season. What do you see as his potential in the offense?
Darion's an explosive guy, and he's in the rotation for sure, and made a great catch last game, and he will continue to be in the rotation. And but he's a very explosive guy. He can really run, and he's strong with the ball in his hands after he catches it. So yeah, he's doing fine.
Halfway through the season, how do you think the captains are handling their responsibilities, McMarion and Helmuth?
They're doing fine. Yeah, I think they're doing fine. They're well respected on the team, and it's not that they have to do anything out of the ordinary or anything like that. But the team seems to be doing fine, and I don't really. We rotate captains each week. They're the two season captains, but each week we rotate other two captains in there. Last week I think it was Keyshawn and Allison, and this week it'll be two different ones that join Marcus and George.
What would you say is the thing that impresses you the most about your defense this season and the 17 takeaways that you have?
I think just how we take our fundamentals from practice and it carries over into the game, and that's something you always strive for. They practice hard. We run to the ball. We really haven't been penalized that much. We're getting to the ball, getting turnovers, which is obviously a important factor, an important stat. Gives you a better chance to be successful. But I think they're playing together as a unit, and that's always key on defense is, not everybody's perfect all the time, but if you run into the ball, you can make up for a lot of mistakes that way.
Coach, you talked a bit about New Mexico's offense. What do you see from their defense? Any changes from last season there?
Just some personnel changes. Just getting into kind of watching their defense now and studying it. But again, physical group, they play hard. They lost a tough one last week at Colorado State. They were up, I think, 18-17 with a few seconds left, and lost on a field goal. But they do a good job. I mean, to hold Colorado State to right before the last couple seconds to 17 points is a pretty good feat.
And we didn't see Jasad Haynes last weekend. What's the approach for him this week in practice?
Same thing. We go day to day. Anybody who has a little ding, we'll take it day to day and see how they recover.
Anything more?
Coach, we saw Marcus. He appears to be getting more and more comfortable pulling the ball and keeping it himself and running confidently. I mean, he broke a couple tackles on that long 26-yarder. Do you expect that to help your running game and as far as setting up more opportunities or bigger opportunities for your backs?
Well, it's part of it. Yeah, I mean, that's part of the run game. There's a few different facets to the run game, really, and it's whether the back gets it or whether the quarterback keeps it or what's an RPO, run pass option. And so there was a few of those last week that we pulled out, and people talk about run game. If you throw an RPO, it's as good as a run. That's a run. It's really a designed run where you're spitting it out on the edge and you're making 8-10 yards. It doesn't show up in the running stats, but it's part of the run game. And so, and really you have to take what they give you. You never know play by play what's going to happen. You have to react to what the defense does.
And we saw what looked like a double pass starting to unfold with Keyshawn, but he couldn't handle it. Fortunately, he got it back. It almost made you pull your hair out. When something like that happens on a play that you've repped and practiced, does that one get shelved, or do you wait a while before you try it again? How do you handle that when something that is so unique and you have to have it at the right time doesn't go as planned?
Well, it depends week to week on what goes on. There's a list of special plays, and how they fit each week against the defense that we're playing, and what we see is really when we use it. I mean, there's different ways to do certain things, different formations, motions, blah blah blah, all that. So that was unfortunate. He did it well in practice, but I think he was in such a hurry to throw it that he forgot to catch it.
And Asa Fuller misfired on that first PAT and then looked like maybe he was limping a little bit afterwards. How much of a concern is maybe even the lack of opportunities he's had to prove himself in games to a point where you really have to rely on him?
Yeah, well, we haven't come into those situations in the last couple of weeks. But once he missed the first one, he settled down and he was great after that. I mean, he was pure and smooth and hit the ball well and all that kind of thing. But we just haven't been in an opportunity, so we try to create that in practice as much as possible.
And with the O-line, you pointed out this last week that one of the reasons you made the change was based on who Wyoming had and where they were and matching up with Wyoming. So moving forward, should we expect that same 5-man offensive line we saw last week, or will it change again based on who New Mexico has?
Well, it will depend. Week to week we'll see where the matchups are and how we feel, and how guys are settling into certain positions. And but it's something we always look at. Where are we with our personnel, and do we need to move guys around and give people opportunity to do different things? We're in that process right now. Early on Monday of figuring out who they are and where we'll be best suited to put personnel, not just with the offensive line, but everywhere.
And for a lot of guys, changing centers is almost as scary as changing quarterbacks. What have you seen from Marcus Boyer that gave you the confidence to make that move?
Well, Marcus played center all camp, so he got most of camp, and so moving Micah was probably a little more scary because he'd had less reps, but then you come back, there's a lot involved in it. The communication, the snap obviously is very key, and so, but they rep it every week. Every week we rotate guys in at different positions, so it's not like it's the first time that he's taken a snap. Even when he's playing guard, you have to make sure that your backup center, which he would be if Micah was playing, that you rep him in those positions all week long. And so it wasn't like it was that big of a deal because he has had a lot of reps there.
What's the next step for your defense? I mean, the success is pretty hard to argue with. Number 2 in the country in points allowed, longest streak in the country of not giving up 30. Is there something even better or higher or better execution that you guys are calling them up to?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Each week we can improve. There's some things we didn't do, the way we need to do them. This week's going to be a huge test for us. And because these guys are very explosive, and but just got to keep getting better each and every week, each and every day. Got to keep improving on what we're doing, and we've been fortunate. Last week, we played a young offense that was, fairly one-dimensional, and then when you get them pinned down there, it makes it even more difficult on them. But this week's going to pose a whole different challenge for us.
What would you say is the biggest challenge the Lobos pose for you?
I think the multiplicity of what they do. There's a lot of moving parts to what they do, and they have a lot of skilled guys that they have the ball in their hands, can make big plays. They have a lot of speed. Their quarterback can pull it. He's a good-sized guy who can break tackles, and he has speed. And so every one of their guys, and they're a very good offensive line. Very good offensive line, and they have a lot of playmakers. And so if you don't get them on the ground, they have the ability to hurt you with some big plays.
Last thing, I won't ask you about the opponent that night because you got New Mexico staring you in the face. But your next home game will be homecoming against Hawaii in 2 weeks. What's the significance of homecoming? As an alum yourself, as someone who's connected with so many other guys who played here or went to school with, what's the significance of homecoming?
Well, I think it's a great opportunity for everyone to come back and be together and just enjoy the camaraderie and the excitement of the game and just being around, being back. Brings back a lot of real positive memories for a lot of people. And I got a couple pictures last week of some of my former teammates that were here, out the tailgates and stuff like that. So that's always nice to see when people come back. And and I think the other thing about it is not just about a 1 year's team. It's about everyone who's gone to school here and participated. And so it's nice for them to all come back.
All right, well, thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks.